Welcome to tonight's video on the chronology of Reiki. Reiki is what I would consider to be an ancient healing art, and it's important to know where this process started. It's thought that the Buddha, Gautama Siddhartha, in 620 before Christ, that's where he was born. He was born in Nepal, or on the India-Nepal border. And then in 543 BCE, he passed away. But during his life, he would get up. Now I'm skipping a lot of the history here, but I'm just talking about his healing practice. He would literally get up, have some breakfast rice, then walk to the next village and spend the day healing people and teaching. And a lot of people think that with Buddhism, I think one of the funniest things I ever heard was that Christ was not a Christian and Buddha was not a Buddhist. And I think that's because his goal was to help as many people as possible. After having been born rich, going up to, I think it was around age 30, and then finally jumped the wall and got over and saw that in the real world there was a lot of suffering. And he thought that perhaps after his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, that he would actually be able to help people and teach people, and did so. And then the historical birth of Jesus happened in the time of, in his life, he learned a lot of things about healing in the mystery schools and did extensive traveling. But the type of healing, the hands-on healing that he did and that he taught his disciples to do, is similar to modern Reiki, because by laying on the hands and passing the energy through you, you're able to provide that additional healing. So, let's fast forward all the way to the late 1800s, and the originator of modern Reiki, R-E-I-K-I, is Mikao Usui. And he went on a quest for Reiki. He wanted to find out how Buddha and Jesus healed. And after extensive research, he was able to find out and find that. However, it took him going on a quest which took him to the top of a mountain for 21 days, and on the last day, a bright white light came down, and he thought, well, I've been here for 21 days, I might as well see what this bright light is. And effectively, it was on a water fast, by the way, that he would see what this white light that was coming towards him would do, even if it cost him his life. Well, it didn't cost him his life. He was given the Reiki symbols that we use today. Now, during his lifetime, he passed on his Reiki and then created a Reiki 3, which is a Reiki master, in Shujiro Hayashi. And that was back in 1925. In 1930, Mikao Usui actually stopped his own heart because he had been a Japanese officer, and he was being conscripted to go back in, and he said, I can't kill. So he took his own life. But then he had already passed on his information. to Hawaii Karamira, later to be referred to as Hawaii Takata. So in 1935, Takata goes to Japan for healing at the Maida Hospital in Akasaka, and then to Hayashi's Reiki Clinic, Shinnomachi, Tokyo. And she was healed of her issues in about 4 months. And eventually, she was given her Reiki training, and she received her Reiki 2 in 1937 from Hayashi. And then she goes back to Hawaii and she opens her first healing clinic in Kapa'a. Now in 1938, Takata receives her Reiki 3 from Hayashi in Hawaii. And then on February 22nd, 1938, Shijiro Hayashi announces Hawaii Takata as the Reiki master and his eventual successor. Then December 11th, possibly the 12th, was the death of Hawaii Takata. And she had made 22 Reiki masters from 1970 to 1980. Some resources give her death date as December the 12th, 1980. Let's just imagine the impact. And the key to tonight's observation is that she created 22 Reiki masters in her lifetime. So far, I've created 2. But I'm not done. As a matter of fact, I've bumped into a gentleman I'd known for quite a while who has been a massage therapist and was interested in the healing arts. And I always start by telling them to go out and get a copy of Diane Stein's book called Essential Reiki. And what I love about this book is its simplicity, and also, I think he paid $13 for his copy today off of Amazon. So the key is that the information is available, and boy, the world has never needed healing more than it does now. So my philosophy is Reiki 1 for everyone. It's easy to do. It's not complicated. You do need to have your attunements, which is the symbols placed in your aura by a Reiki master. And that's how you should get your training, one-on-one, person-to-person. You can't get it online. You can't get it over the internet. You may have some skill, like I did, starting out from a very young age, where I could raise the energy, and I was basically using my energy to be able to pass on to people. And that was a beautiful thing because I could help people, but it wiped me out. When I got my Reiki training, I was able to flow the energy through me. As they say, to be able to pass an attunement in Reiki or to be able to heal, you need to be able to turn on, tune in like a radio, and then pass that energy. So, that's a little bit of the history of Reiki. This started back with Buddha, possibly before. And it's also suggested that there are other Reiki symbols besides the 5 that we use in Reiki healing today. However, the 5 that we use, it's enough. We can do all the healing that we need to do with those 5. And we can teach that in a very simple process. First things first, go get your book, Essential Reiki by Diane Stein. Spend less than $20 to get the understanding about this wonderful healing art, and then seek out a Reiki master in your area that's teaching, and get your training, become attuned, and help the planet. That's all I got for tonight. Have a blessed evening.